Welcome back to another episode of our WhatsApp clone series. Last episode, we built out the status update screen, the components for that. In this episode, we're going to be building out the call screen, what you see on the left simulator. We're mostly just going to be focused on the UI components right now. In the latest episode, we're going to be populating all of the tab screens with actual data. So to get started, let's open our Xcode project. Last episode, we built this update tab screen component. This time around, let's create another file and let's see. SwiftUI view. We're going to call it call tab screen. I think that's the naming convention we're going for. Yep. Okay. And just like the last time, let's start breaking down this into components. If you look at the left simulator, which is what we're trying to reproduce right now, we have a navigation stack, we have a search bar, and then it looks like we have a list again. It looks pretty simple. And then we have navigation items, or toolbar items, as they're called in SwiftUI. So let's get started by creating a navigation stack as a top level component. Okay, so let's see. Navigation stack, just like the other time, we're going to have a list again, and we're going to have a navigation title as usual. This one is going to be called calls. And what else do we need? We need a searchable again. Searchable. Thank you. And we need another search text. So it's going to be a state, private var, search text. And we're going to mark it as an empty string. Let me close this left panel. Okay, we're going to bind our search text to our searchable. Now let's play our SwiftUI preview to make sure everything is working. Boom. We are on a roll. All right. So from what it looks like, we have what it seemed like two separate sections. We have this section and then we have this other section. So this section has an header. This section doesn't have an header. It looked fairly simple enough to me. But we also have this navigation items at the top. I think we should start with the navigation items. So we are going to go right underneath our searchable modifier and we are going to append, we're going to add a toolbar modifier. And generally speaking, when I'm doing stuff like this, I just like to create an extension. It just makes it cleaner. And I'm going to create the leading, the principal, and the trailing navigation items. And the way to do that is I'm going to create a function, but I'm first going to mark the function with a toolbar content builder. So let's see, leading nav item. It's going to be of some toolbar content. Thank you. And we're going to have a toolbar item with placement and a content. And the placement is going to be, leading, toolbar leading. And we're going to have a button that just has a title called edit. That's all we need for now. Let's see. Let us add this leading navigation item here. Okay, that looks pretty good. We are on a roll. Let's do the same thing for the trailing, right? And to make our lives easier, we could just copy this. So we could just copy this, leading toolbar, paste it here, call it trailing navigation item. And this one, this time around, is not a text. It looks like we have a button with a label. And the label is going to be, let's see, some sort of system image. So as usual, Command Shift and L, right? The routine. And let's see, I'm looking for this icon right here, this outgoing call icon. So I'm probably just going to look for phone.arrow.up.right. I think that looks like it. Yep. Looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to come up here into our toolbar closure and I'm going to pass in the trailing navigation item in there as well. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I made a mistake. Sorry, guys. So this is the trailing. I said I've messed it up. So this is the trailing and this is the leading. My bad, guys. Okay, so top bar leading, and then this is going to be changed to top bar trailing. All right, that looks more like it. Now we need our principal item, which is this segmented controller, as it's called in UIKit. What is it even called in SwiftUI? I think it's called a picker in SwiftUI. Anyways, we're going to do the same thing again, a toolbar function. And this time around, I'll just call it the principal nav item. And the placement is going to be principal, which is what gives us the centered look. And in this situation, we are not going for a button. We're going for a picker. So we're going to have a picker. And picker normally takes in a selection. Okay. So before we get started with this, usually the selection needs some sort of an enum. right? Because you can have a missed call section selected or all call section selected. So let's create an enum that sort of helps us handle something like this. And you know what? We could create it in this same extension. So let's create a, I don't know, private enum, and we're going to just call it call history, right? That feels fair enough. Let's make it a string. Like, let's make it case iteratable, and let's, make it identifiable so we can use a for each on it. And then we're going to say case all and missed, right? We have an all section, and then we have a missed call section. And let me see. I need an ID, which is going to be of type string. I want it to be a computer property, and I'm just going to return the raw value. And the reason I'm able to return a raw value here is because this call history is of type string. So I'm saying all and missed, their raw value are actually strings. So it's a pretty neat little way to accomplish that. All right, let's get back to our principal nav item. So for principal nav item, we need a selection. Okay, so let's go up here in our call tab screen. Let's create another state variable. Let's make it private because we're good developers. And we're going to just call it call history, and it's going to be equals to call history dot, what's the first one? The all, because the starting point should be all. The starting selected picker is all. So then that's the selected one. So then we're going to come here. We're going to say $ call history. We're binding it to that selection. And let's see, what else do we need to do? Okay. Before we do anything, I would like to put this right in here inside of this toolbar closure, just so we can use the SwiftUI preview to see the progress we're making. So the next step is I want to create a for each, and I'm going to have call history dot all cases. And this is why I made this call history case iteratable, so I can be able to call this all cases on it. And I have my for each. I don't have to pass in the ID because it's already identifiable. So I'm going to say item in, and I'm just going to create a text component. And the title is going to be item, the raw value, and let's see what comes up with SwiftUI preview. And let's make it capitalized, I suppose. And let's create a tag, and the tag is going to be equals to the actual, call history type that is selected. The other thing that let's see. What are we missing? Why is it not matching the design? I think we need to set pick a style. Yes, pick a style. And we want segmented. Yep, segmented controller. Okay, that looks pretty good, except that spans the entire, top navigation bar. I guess it's not a problem if that's the design you're going for. But in this situation, we want to limit the frame, the width. We want to clip the width. So we'll just give it a frame width. Let's just give it 150, something like that. Let's see. Boom. And we are making progress. Okay, we're on a roll here. So we're pretty much done with the toolbar items. Now let's go create our sections. So let's see. We have first section. Just going to open up a section. We want a header, this create call link header. So I'll just call it, create call link header. So like the last episode, I'll just create another private struct. I'll call it create call link section. And it's going to be of type view. Let SwiftUI do its auto completion thing for me. And what do we have here? This looks like an H stack so we have an H stack, right? We have an image, and then we have a V stack that has what looks like a button or just a text and a subtitle. All right, let's get that started. So H stack with an image, again, system image. I love SF symbols. Command Shift and L. I think what we're looking for is called a link image. Yep, it is. So just got to pass in link. Also, let's take this create call link section and let's throw that into our list, into our section. So let's see. All right, we're making progress. We need to do a little bit more work though. Let's give this a padding of 8. Let's give this a background. I don't know, color system gray 6. Feels about right, I think. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's clip it. Let's make it a circle. So clip shape, circle. I don't care about this fill style. I just want it to be circle. And what else am I missing here? All right, then we need our VStack, right? So VStack, we want our text to say create call link, and then text, share a link for your WhatsApp call. All right, as you can see, this does not match the design that we have here. And the reason is pretty simple. VStack needs an alignment parameter. So we want to make sure it's of type, it's a leading alignment. Alignment, if I can spell that. So leading, boom, we're making progress now. The only thing left is just, we should apply some fonts and color modifiers. So this here is of type blue. It has a blue color. This also has a blue color, the image. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that right there. And share a link to your WhatsApp. That looks like we need a foreground color as well of type gray. And we probably should change the font to something smaller like caption. All right. We're done with the first section. That was quick. All right. We need one more section, and that's pretty much it. And we're going to be done for this episode. So I think the only other section that we need is the actual recent call section. So I'm going to create another struct as usual, private struct. I'm going to call it recent call history. I don't know. Or maybe just call item view. Yeah. Call item view. Recent call item view. Naming is hard, guys. Naming is hard. All right, view. And I'm looking at this, by the way. This is what I'm taking a look at. And from what it looks like, we have another H stack with a V stack and, you know, the usual. So let's see. How do we get started with this? Well, let's create an H stack. An H stack. And I'm going to use a circle as a placeholder again, just because it makes our life easier. We can always replace it later. Width 45, height of 45. And I would like to pass in this recent call item view. So if we scroll up inside of our section right here in our navigation stack, instead of our list, I would like to pass that in here. Okay, so we can see what we're working on. So we have a circle, and what else do we have? We have a V stack. So I'm going to have a V stack. As usual, make sure the alignment is the leading. I just hate this Xcode completion. I'm sorry, guys. The leading. And we have text that says John Smith. Just placeholder text. And we have, let's see. So we have John Smith. I think we actually need another H stack here, right? So let's see, another H stack. Image with a system name of phone. I think .arrow, .up, .right, .fill. I think that feels right. Yep, that's it. Right there. Okay, perfect. And that's from SF Symbols again. And text, we want a text that says how it's going right next to that. So that's a how it's going. Of course, that can be a label. It just depends on your choice. I personally, I'm just going to go with a H stack here because it gives us more control. So I'm going to give it a spacing of like 5. And that looks pretty good to me. And now on the V stack, I'm going to apply fonts. I'm going to give it a font of system size 14. Feels right. Foreground style of gray feels right. I think. Well, I should apply this on the H stack, not on the V stack itself, the H stack. Okay, that looks pretty good. The only bit left is the date right here and this like options. I would like to refactor this view body. I generally don't like when I have a bunch of stacks, like when I have 3 stacks, 4 or 5 stacks inside of one singular view body. It really becomes difficult to like follow through. So I'm just going to like create another function, extract this into a function, private func recent call text view. I don't know if it sounds about right. Some type of view. And I'm just going to take everything in this V stack and migrate it over here. And then I'll just put this recent calls view here. Let's see what that looks like. Everything should still look the same in our preview, and it does. And then I'm going to throw a spacer, right? Put a spacer so I can put a text with the word yesterday, which is going to be our date text. Oh, yesterday. That feels about right. You know, foreground style. Let's make it gray, and maybe make the font system size 16 or something. That feels about right. And the only other bit that we need now is a label, our info button. So honestly, I'm just going to give an image for now. System, Command Shift and L, info. what is that called? Yep, it's just called info right here. All right, so info. And maybe that fail. I think that's the one we're looking for. Is that the name? No, it's info. Let's see, info.circle. That's right here. So sorry about that, guys. Info.circle. And that looks pretty close to what we have going on here. And we need a header. So we're going to go up here inside of this section, just start typing header. And the header says the word recent to it. So we're just going to create a text component, recent. We're going to make the text case nil because we want to be able to apply our own text styling. If not, the default, what is it called? The default least header styling will take over. And, let's give it a font of like headline. And let's make it bold and, give it a foreground style of, let's see, the WhatsApp black. And that's what we got going on. That looks pretty damn good to me. What do you guys say? And all we need to do to make this like match what we have going on here is just, embed it in a for each loop. So we can just do a for each 0. And let's do something like 12. Let's do item in. And then let's call our recent call item view again. And there we go. Now, the last bit is we need to take this call tab screen, go into our main tab view, and replace this placeholder text right here. So now it's call tab screen. Let us run our application, and we should have something that matches what we have on the left. So remember, last episode, we put together the update screen. Now we just put together the call screen. That looks pretty good to me. I mean, we have our components working. We just need to plug in data and plug in the VoIP functionality, which is to come in later episodes. But that's it. We're making a significant amount of progress. Thank you for joining me in this episode. In the next episode, we're going to be doing this community screen, and we're going to get started with the channel screen, which is going to be the list of chat, like what we have on the right here. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. Stick around. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And please, if you derive a lot of value from this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It means a lot to me, and it keeps me motivated. Have a good one, guys. Bye.